Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Dear all, inshallah, today we will be discussing a very important topic, and that is ethical considerations in AI, robotics, and automation. We'll try to see some of the case studies and ethical frameworks as well. Now, when we talk about emerging technologies, emerging technologies actually refer to innovative and often disruptive technologies that are currently under development or are being developed but have not yet reached widespread use. These technologies actually have the potential to significantly impact society. Now, as you can see here, these are some of the examples of emerging technologies like AI, robotics, and automation. Now, you all know that these are at the forefront of innovation across multiple industries. Now, these technologies are actually transforming, various industrial sectors. To name a few here are like healthcare, finance, manufacturing, and education. The list goes on and on. These technologies, they are basically offering solutions that actually improve efficiency of human beings, and they reduce overall costs, and they enhance capabilities. Now, however, when we see all these, you know, advantages, and we see that these are very helpful in many aspects, but at the same time, we need to keep in mind that they also have significant issues from the perspective of ethics, isn't it? And they raise significant ethical challenges, and that need to be addressed to avoid unintended consequences. Now, to put in context, we are actually discussing in the context of emerging technologies like AI, robotics, and automation. And we see that these are integrated into our day-to-day lives. And when we are using them, we need to understand their limitations. And we also need to make a balance between these innovations and ethics, which is actually critical to ensure that this technological progress benefits human society as a whole and doesn't create any forms of inequality or harm. Now, when we talk about importance of ethics, as you all can see, that without proper ethical considerations, there is a risk that these technologies could, increase inequalities, and they can sabotage individual privacy and lead to harmful consequences, right? So that's the reason ethics actually are very significant, because they play a vital role as a guiding framework, and they make us to make a balance between this innovations with societal values by protecting individual rights, ensuring fairness, justice, accountability in this whole scenario. All right, now when we talk about objectives, these are the objectives of this course. That is, the primary objective is to explore ethical considerations associated with these emerging technologies, and we'll try to see some of the real world impact by applying established ethical frameworks. And by end of the chapter, we aim to provide a comprehensive understanding of ethical challenges posed by these technologies and offer guidance for responsible development and implementation. All right, now when we talk about overview, this section actually provides an overview for like what is AI, what is robotics, what is automation, isn't it? And as you all know, that AI actually, uh, provides systems that simulate human intelligence, Now, how it simulates human intelligence through algorithms, basically, through machine learning algorithms and with high data processing capability. Now, when we talk about robotics, robotics actually are the designs and constructions, and they also involve AI uh, for autonomous decisions. Now, automation, when we talk about automation, the use of technology to perform tasks without human intervention, often in manufacturing, in logistics, and other industries. And when we talk about biotechnology, the use of biological processes, organisms, or systems to develop products and technologies, including, like genetic engineering and bioengineering. So all these are emerging technologies, and as as users or as consumers of these technologies, we need to understand the ethical perspective so that these technologies can be used to benefit human society rather than to harm, right? Now, what is AI? As I just informed you, that AI actually refers to development of computer systems that can perform tasks typically requiring human intelligence. Now, examples include, as shown here, machine learning algorithms, natural language processing, and computer vision, which is used in computer vision. Basically, is used in autonomous vehicles, driverless cars, isn't it? And natural language processing, NLP, acronymized as NLP, isn't it? NLP actually helps to understand human language, isn't it, based on the context, and guide them accordingly. And digital assistants are the best examples of you know for NLPs. Now, machine learning algorithms, as you all know, that machine learning algorithms uses three types of learning mechanisms, like supervised, unsupervised, and reinforced machine learning, isn't it? Right. Now, how they work, I think I already informed in our previous classes. But to make it short, actually, machine learning algorithms are used for analytics. Predictive analytics means, like, for example, if we want to know currently if your health status is this, meaning, like, let's say your blood pressure is it's not normal. Your the cholesterol that is inside your body is not normal, isn't it? So when you go for a checkup, when you get the details, now these details actually, if you want to analyze using AI tools, these details, if they are fed to AI tools, and AI tools will actually predict, like, in future what kind of diseases you may get and what are the precautions that you need to take from now, isn't it? And if you don't take these precautions, what will be the consequences? So all these things it can predict you in advance. Now, this is an example of healthcare. But when we talk about industries, actually, in industries, especially in manufacturing industries, they use high-end machines. Now you can actually track machines' health also with these machine learning algorithms. If something goes with the machine, you can actually analyze based on this predictive analytics. Like, the machine's condition is today is this, and after a few months, or I mean, if we continue with this workload on this machine, what will happen in future? Will this machine will last long, or it will spoil, isn't it? Now these kind of applications, you see numerous applications of machine learning algorithms. Even, when we talk about analyzing human perceptions, or when if you want to analyze how people at a specific geographical location are thinking, isn't it? You can also analyze that as well using a sentiment analysis. We say sentiment analysis, especially on social media. If you want to know whether the discussion is healthy, unhealthy, or neutral, isn't it? Now, this kind of analysis also can be done using machine learning algorithms, where actually they can analyze whether the discussion is healthy, that is positive, negative, or neutral. Now, based on this, you can actually predict how the society will function in future, or how the individual who is commenting or posting or sharing or forwarding some kind of messages, just by the content they are delivering, we can actually analyze their mindset. So these, I mean, these are just few examples. You can now apply it to diverse sectors. We see AI now has creeped into every walk of our life, starting from individual life to societal life, isn't it? Everywhere we see that machine learning algorithms are functioning, and they are impacting our lives as well. All right. Now, as we see, AI has ability to analyze large data sets, isn't it, and make decisions. Uh, so this actually has a potential to transform industries, but at the same time, there are inherent ethical issues inside it, especially when we talk about bias, transparency, and accountability, right? That we'll see now. Now, when we talk about robotics, as you all know, that robots like industrial robots, service robots, and domestic robots, right? Now, all these are the robots. Robots are basically machines that are, yeah, I mean, to serve human beings, isn't it? So when we talk about industrial robots, in manufacturing sector, we see that they are used to assemble cars with precision and efficiency. Service robots in healthcare, they assist in surgery, and domestic robots like vacuum cleaners and all, they actually can automate what we call, our household works that we do uh, in our day-to-day life. So as we see that there are a lot of advantages and potential applications, but at the same time, there are some unaddressed or unanswered questions with respect to their ethical use that we'll discuss today. Now, automation basically refers replacing human beings with machines, or in general, as it is stated here, it refers to the use of technology to perform tasks without human intervention. Now, examples, as you can see here, in automated manufacturing, in logistics automation, and in finance automation in finance sector. While automation also increases efficiency and reduces operational costs, at the same time, it also raises ethical issues. One of the example is like job displacement. Isn't it? Now, how to address this? That we'll see now. Now, what are the ethical issues that are included in these emerging technologies? As it is stated here, when we talk about ethical consideration, first and the foremost thing is bias, isn't it? That is, AI systems can inherit biases present in the data they are trained, leading to unfair or discriminatory outcomes. Examples include bias in facial recognition technology, hiring algorithms, and credit scoring systems, right? Now, when we talk about bias is actually, it is classified into three types, like bias in data. Usually when we talk about AI systems, for AI systems to function, we need huge data sets. So when you are training your machine with a data set, if that data set is not properly filtered, then it has inherent biases, and that inherent biases can lead to decisions that are suggested by these AI based systems. They may include bias, and this bias is because of data. We call it as data bias. And sometimes when to analyze the data, we use algorithms. Now, algorithms also has bias, isn't it? Now, this kind of bias, we call it as algorithmic bias. Now, last but not least is we call it as interpretive bias. Like you you feed the data to your machine, isn't it? Or you come up with some what we call conclusions from the machine, and the way you interpret or the machine is interpreting to you, isn't it? That also has bias. So the whole bias actually depends on data, and this bias, if it is unaddressed, it can have unintended consequences, right? So that's the reason now, there is a lot of talk that this issue should be addressed, isn't it? And there are a lot of case studies which have clearly demonstrated that this bias can have a potential harm to the society, right? So the primary ethical issues in this whole emerging technology landscape includes, first and foremost thing is bias and being fair, and data privacy is also a concern. Like when we talk about data privacy, especially when you are training machines on, in health domain, now you will be using some or other data sets that are available to you, and these data sets, they may contain sensitive information of patients. And now without the concern of patients, we can't use their private data, isn't it? Now this actually is an issue, isn't it? Now, not only this, but there are many other issues, the implications of vast data collection and also surveillance, isn't it? Then the third thing is we see with the introduction of these technologies, we see that these technologies will replace human labor, isn't it? And that is, it will create a problem which we call job displacement, isn't it? Then the third thing which is stated here is like accountability. Now, when we talk about driverless cars or autonomous vehicles, isn't it? We need to know, like if something goes wrong, who should be held accountable, and we also need to have transparency in terms of what kind of algorithms are used in this machine, isn't it? And how it functions. At least on a high level or at a superficial level, we need to have a clear, what we call, idea of how they are functioning, isn't it? So that's what this is a challenge, actually, isn't it? And the challenge of determining responsibility when technology causes harms is a question, is an ethical question that needs to be addressed here. Now, when we talk about autonomy and control, the ethical considerations of delegating decision making to machines, especially when we talk about military, like when you delegate machines with the job of soldiers. Now, if something goes wrong with your instructions, isn't it? They see human lives in trouble. Who should be held responsible for this? So these are all the issues that we have, ethical issues we have in these emerging technologies. Now, first, let us see what is the bias and fairness. Like here, there are some examples, isn't it? Example of bias. In it has been found that in US, hiring algorithms usually, when if an organization or a company, if they want to hire, they usually scrutinize the CVs that have come to them, isn't it? Now, this task is when it is automated, meaning when you give this task of filtering the CVs to machine, isn't it? Machine will do filtering, but based on the the training that it has taken. That is, the models, usually when we use machine learning models, machine learning algorithms, they are actually trained on huge data sets, as I informed you earlier. Now, these data sets, if they contain bias, like for example, let me give you a simple example. In US, it has been found that usually black people, when they commit some crime, isn't it? It has been found that they are continuous. I mean, they are repeating this crime continuously, isn't it? Meaning this we call it as recidivism in English, isn't this phenomena we call it as recidivism? Meaning what? Once they when they do some crime, they are acquitted by the court. they go through the whole process of going to prison, then they are released, isn't it? But when they are released and when they go to the society back, isn't it, it has been found that they are not leading a normal life, but again they are committing some crimes and coming back to the prison again. So when the research was done, it was found that uh, when they go back to the society, they want to mingle with the society and they want to contribute to the society positively. But when we see that no one is willing to accept them, isn't it? No one is willing to, because whenever they see the CV and they are from specific ethnic background, or what we say racial background. Now the hiring algorithms, they are actually, when they are trained with whatever the newspaper articles, whatever the uh, uh, I mean court judgments regarding them. And all these things will be considered. Now, when we see the record or the historical data based on this background, historically we see that a lot of crimes or were committed, isn't it? And this data has been trained in such a way that these algorithms, they take it as granted. If someone with this background comes to them, they need to be rejected. That's what the algorithms are designed to. Now, this is actually a bias, and this bias, it has it is not helping society to remove the inequalities, but instead it is adding fuel to fire, isn't it? So that's what AI used in recruitment might favor certain demographics or certain racial or ethnic backgrounds, isn't it? If the training data reflects historical biases against the underrepresented groups. Now, the same goes to facial recognition. Some AI systems have been shown that they have higher error rates to certain racial or ethnic groups, leading to concerns about fairness and discrimination, right? So, yeah, that's the reason there need to be, you need to ensure fairness. How you ensure fairness? Whenever you are selecting the data, that data should be, you need to make sure that there is a careful curation and pre-processing of data must be there to remove these biases. And apart from it, there need to be continuous monitoring, isn't it, to mitigate these biases. And there need to be a fairness metrics, isn't it, which actually includes fairness as key measure in AI system design. Yeah. The next, privacy concerns, as I said to you, that especially in health data, isn't it? It may require detailed patient records, blah blah blah, isn't it? But this is private matter. It can't be taken granted by these organizations when they are. So ethical use of data is necessary. That is transparent data practices. We need to have agreement, that is consent mechanisms, and we also need to have what we call robust data protection mechanisms. That is, strong cybersecurity measures need to be implemented to protect data from breaches. Right now, this is also one of the problem that we have. That is job displacement, isn't it? Especially in manufacturing sector and in retail sector, isn't it? Because now in manufacturing sector, instead of human beings operating the machines, robots are doing the job, isn't it? So now when these kind of we call them as disruptive technologies, isn't it? When we see disruption, disruption here means in technological background, if some new innovations come into market, isn't it? They actually change the processes. They actually have a significant impact, and that impact sometimes, not sometimes, but we see that it has caused job displacement, right? Now, how to, because when you have job displacement, there will be inequalities in the society, that is economic inequalities. Rich will become richer and poor will become poorer. Now, when these inequalities When there will be a wide gap between them, then we will be seeing chaos in society, isn't it? Now, if you want to address that, we need to address the issue of job displacement ethically. Now, how we can address that? Now, these are some of the uh, you know uh, points where how we can address this job displacement. That is by reskilling workforce, by creating new opportunities, by coming up with society safety nets. That is by implementing policies like unemployment benefits and job transition support. Basically, this is what, like reskilling or investing in training human resource, isn't it, to help job displacement and helping them for transition to new job roles. Now, when we talk about accountability and responsibility, isn't it, especially in autonomous vehicles and algorithmic decisions, as I discussed, when AI systems cause harm or fail, it can be difficult to determine who is accountable, isn't it? Whether it's the developers, users, or manufacturers, who is responsible, isn't it? Now, we need a clear what we call guideline on this aspect as well. This is where ethics guide us, isn't it? Now, next thing is accountability and transparency, isn't it? Especially when we talk about algorithmic bias, we need explainable AI, isn't it? That is, we need to know how these AI algorithms are functioning, isn't it? And this can be done with explainable AI, with clear accountability frameworks, and we by mechanisms, by providing ways for individuals to seek mechanisms to redress, isn't it, or to seek recourse if they are harmed by AI decisions. Now, when we talk about autonomy and control, we also see, like the example just now I said to you, autonomous weapons, especially when we talk about using AI in military, isn't it? Now, the use of robots in military applications raises ethical questions. Like if something goes wrong, if robot takes life of many people, now who should be held responsible, right? So because delegating life and death decisions to machines is very risky, isn't it? It has a huge impact. And also healthcare robots, like robots making autonomous decisions in patients, like if they are doing some, let's say, uh, if they are performing some surgeries. Now, how these robots take decisions? If something goes wrong with the robot decision, if the patient loses his or her life, who should be held accountable, isn't it? Now, these are also the issues that we see, isn't it? Now, lastly, maintaining control, how to regulate all these issues in it. So we need to have human oversight, meaning what? If there are some critical decisions to be made, they should be delegated to human review, isn't it? I mean, they should be given to human beings to check, isn't it? Because it's end of the day, only humans knows human values, isn't it? Machines, they are non-living things, isn't it? They doesn't have emotions. So that's the reason. I mean, the final authority should be given to human beings, isn't it? That's ensuring that critical decisions made by AI systems are subject to human review. Then, whenever they are designing these robots, isn't it, or AI algorithms, it is mandatory that they include ethical design principles. Then, last but not least, there should be international regulations. That is, there is a need now for developing global standards to govern the use of autonomous systems, particularly in high stake environments where human life is at risk. Now, these are some of the case studies here. We have now why we study case studies, as it is said here. That is to provide concrete examples of how ethical issues manifest in practice and also to analyze the outcomes and identify lessons learned from future technological advancements. Here we have seen AI in healthcare, automation, warfare, and criminal justice. These are some of the case studies in AI in healthcare now. Example is like IBM's Watson that has been used to assist oncologists, people, I mean, doctors who do research on cancer, isn't it? We call them as oncologists. In identifying treatment options for cancer patients by analyzing vast amounts of medical literature. Now, the ethical concerns or how they make sure that they are accurate, isn't it? Have they taken patient consent, isn't it? Have they met data privacy standards, isn't it? So these are the ethical concerns, and this was the outcome. While AI like Watson can enhance decision making in healthcare, it should also complement rather than replace human judgment. It should complement. It should not replace, with a strong, emphasis on ethical standards. Then next we see automation in manufacturing, like companies like Tesla, as you all know that they have used advanced robotics to streamline car production. This has improved efficiency by reducing costs, but at the same time, there are some ethical challenges that we see. There is uh, job losses, and it has huge economic impact as well, isn't it? Now, what are the solutions? That is reskilling programs, and each and every organization, especially corporates, they have responsibility towards society as well, which we call corporate social responsibility, or CSR, isn't it? Now, taking that responsibility, they need to address the economic inequalities that we see in the society, and they can address this by training, by providing extra training to human beings. I mean, the staff, they are working. This can help to address the issues of job losses, job displacement, and also it will address the problem of economic inequalities, right? So now the outcome here is like automation in manufacturing needs to be balanced with social responsibility initiatives to mitigate the negative impacts on workers and communities. Now, robotics in warfare, as I said to you, that the deployment of robotics in warfare must be guided by strict ethical standards and international regulations to prevent misuse and protect human rights, especially the use of drones, as you have seen during the current ongoing war on Gaza, isn't it? Drones have been used immensely, and they have caused a lot of, damage to human life. So, yeah, these are the issues that needs to be addressed, and this is where ethics comes into place. All right, now AI in criminal justice, like this is actually the algorithm, Compass algorithm, that was used in US to assess the likelihood of recidivism among offenders, which has been criticized for exhibiting racial bias. Like as I said to you, that there, this algorithm was having high, rates of error, isn't it? Especially for minority groups, leading to unfair treatment, right? So yeah, now how can what was outcome of this? That is, AI systems in criminal justice must be redesigned and deployed. That was outcome, with a focus on fairness, transparency, and accountability to avoid these everlasting biases that we see in the system. Now we have ethical frameworks to address all these. Uh, I mean, what we say, the issues that we discuss. Now, these are like deontological ethics, utilitarianism, virtue ethics, and principalism. Now, all these, they have their own what we call, uh, I mean, positive points, that pros and cons, isn't it? Now, when we talk about deontological ethics, they actually focus on rules, duties, and principles regardless of outcomes, isn't it? Now, when they are applied in technology, they actually respect individual rights. They have ethical constraints and moral absolutes. That is, certain actions may be deemed unethical under these ethics, isn't it, regardless of potential benefits. Now, example here is like applying, this aspect in to AI in healthcare to ensure patient data is protected, even if greater data access could improve outcomes. Isn't it? You may have, if you have a lot of, data sets or huge data sets, there is an advantage that you may have what we call accuracy in the results, but at the same time, we can't compromise with individuals, what we call consent, right? So yeah, this is what that needs to be addressed. Now, when we talk about utilitarianism, it also has advantages. That is, it maximizes benefits, it balances harms and benefits, but at the same time, it also has potential positive and negative outcomes when deploying. Now, when we see all these ethical frameworks, they have their own pros and cons, and when we are applying them, when we develop machines, we need to look into like which framework suits to these systems, isn't it? Now, yeah, virtue ethics, they talk about moral integrity, they talk about fostering virtues, isn't it? Now, the example can be like applying these virtue ethics to corporate responsibility in tech companies, emphasizing the importance of ethical leadership in decision making. Then this one, principalism, is actually an ethical framework commonly used in bioethics. What it talks about autonomy, beneficence, non-maleficence, and justice. Isn't it? Now, where it can be used, example is given here to guide ethical use of AI in healthcare, balancing patient autonomy with potential benefits and risks of AI-driven treatments. Now, when we see comparison, each and every ethical framework, it has its own advantages and disadvantages. Now, it depends on uh, people who are working on these technologies to look into these frameworks and choose the best one to address the domain they are in. Now, there are some challenges. These are the challenges that we see in a traditional ethical frameworks with cultural and global differences. And when we look at the challenges, we actually can conclude that there is a need for a collaboration among these frameworks rather than choosing anyone. That's by adapting regulations, by having global collaboration, and by having wide public engagement. Now, when we see the future actually is with the collaboration across various fields and with education institute, I mean initiatives. That is, we need to educate by developing interdisciplinary educational programs that equip not only professionals but also individuals with both technical and ethical knowledge. Now, it should be innovation actually through collaboration, basically, right? Now, when we look at the conclusion, these are the summary of the key points that we discussed. That is, the ethical considerations associated with AI, robotics, and automation are complex and multifaceted. They actually require a careful balance between, innovation and ethical responsibility. So the case studies which we have seen, that they have real world impact, isn't it? Highlighting both the benefits and potential risks. So now, in this regard, we have seen that ethical frameworks provide actually valuable tools for analyzing and addressing these challenges, but they must be adapted and evolved to keep pace with the changes that we see in technological landscape. Now, lastly, we see that as AI, robotics, and automation continue to advance, it is crucial to remain vigilant in addressing their ethical implications. Now, by applying a combination of ethical frameworks and fostering interdisciplinary collaboration, we can ensure the benefits by promoting a more just and equitable society. Right? So that's all I have for today. If you have any queries, you can post your questions below the link, and please do give your attendance at the end. Right. So thank you very much, everyone, for hearing and being with me. If you have any queries, please do let me know. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.